See, the Avatar movie is getting a limited theater release. It is? Really? Let me check that. Shit. When is it? Bitch. Avatar The Last Airbender, motherfucker. Oh shit. July 24th in select theaters and Paramount Plus. That's a good move. I think that's a good move. I honestly think that was a good move. Honestly, I swear to God, I know I've seen the movie already, but I think I'm gonna go see it in theater too because I'm a huge Avatar fan, and I think the Avatar fandom deserves to make its money. I only got like one like Viger thing to say about the new Avatar movie, which I think the movie it's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I think, although I just think the movie makes absolutely no sense. You know what I mean? Like there, I feel like this person, like the writers, knows lore up to a point. You know what I'm saying? It's just like my thing is though. I feel like the main story one doesn't make sense. I'm gonna just say and don't say anything. Just let me get this one off my chest, and I'm gonna say this now. The Avatar movie, in my opinion, it doesn't make any sense. And then I'm gonna say why it doesn't make sense because they talk about Sonam, and Sonam is Yang Chen, who is Avatar Sonam. Yeah, okay, boom, Yang Chen, right? And the story is that there's no Avatar that's like ever connected with Sonam due to the whole being frozen for more than 100 years, like you know what I mean? The whole shebang, which I think that was a great story. I kind of like what they did with like Sonam's past, like all of Yang Chen's past. I kind of like what they did with that. I think that made sense. I just think what doesn't make sense is what when they say that no avatar has ever connected with Sonam. And when they mean by no avatar, they're including Avatar Aang, which uh which real Avatar fans, like the people who were like there when Avatar just like I remember when they were making new episodes of Avatar, like when I was alive when they were doing that shit on cable, bro. Like real fans of the Avatar fandom knows that Aang has connected with Yang Chen in the series, and it's season three, and it's not just season three; it's the last fucking episode. He connected with Avatar Yang Chen in the grand finale. Literally like right before he defeated the Fire Lord, and not even just right before he defeated the Fire Lord, right before he met the Lion Turtle, bro. Officially, like he was on the Lion Turtle, but he didn't know that yet. So he tried to connect with his past ones. And he said, maybe an air nomad could help me, and Yang Chen popped out. So it's like, how could he not have that? Unless if that's the only time Avatar Aang ever connected with Yang Chen, but that doesn't make sense. It still doesn't give off the fact that them saying that no Avatar has ever, because it even seems that Aang himself is confused, which, dude, you've spoken to her before. Even though it was once, but you still spoken to her. That means, because here's the thing, though. I feel like even though other avatars don't really connect with Yang Chen, but the fact that Aang did, and and maybe there's a reason behind it. Maybe it's like the lore is like Aang isn't trying to finish the job and save the world. You know what I mean? He's not trying to kill the Fire Lord, and maybe that is what builds up Yang Chen because she understands. And I kind of, and don't get me wrong, I like the whole story with the older airbender. I think it was dope as shit. But I just think the whole spiritually connected part doesn't make any sense because Aang has connected with Yang Chen once. And I'm gonna just say another thing that also doesn't make sense. I seen the movie where they were in battle and Katara ran out of water and she goes, "I'm out of water." When I'm just like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Time out. How could you be out of water?" Katara, there's water everywhere, girlfriend. You can, flick water in thin air. There's water everywhere. So it's like, how could you be out of water in battle when you're older and when older? There's an older version of you, but at the same time, but the thing that pisses me off is that I feel like Avatar Korra's story was more accurate to Avatar Aang's story than his own movie. I'm gonna keep it a bean. It was. No, it was. It was because Katara actually talks about the whole blood bending shit. She talks about the blood bending. You know what I mean? They talk about so much in the past that makes sense. It's just the movie, bro. It's just like I need to know. But according to the internet, I'm not sure if this is true, but like no one from the original like cast or anything, or the original writers had anything to do with it. I think the movie isn't as accurate as I expected it to be. Like I think the beginning of the movie up to like the middle was pretty accurate in a way, but it dawns on me once Avatar Aang goes like he heads into the spirit world and tries to talk to the other avatars. That's where I'm just like, okay, now it those who saw the stream, you're just like, okay, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like it just doesn't incline. Like nothing makes sense. Although I did appreciate Sokka's whole character, I think everything about Sokka that in that movie was Sokka, and I think it was perfect. The writers did Sokka great. I just think there were those hidden keys play a huge factor in the show. So why is Aang like fronting about that? You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Like Aang is trying to pretend like, oh, he never spoke to Yang Chen in the past, which you did, bro. It's just and Qatar being run out of water. I mean, Hamas taught her how to blood bend, and literally taught her that you can literally water bend from like damn near any direction, from anything. Like you can bend whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? So it's like that doesn't make sense either, unless if Katara doesn't want to follow in Hama's footsteps, which I know in throughout the show she didn't want to, and she's only and throughout the original series she's only blood bended one other time, other than the time she gained the access of the ability. She has only done it one other time, and she even threatened Zuko that she was clearly gonna do it. She threatened Zuko, and when I mean she like when she said she was gonna permanently end Zuko, I mean she was going to bloodbend this nigga. I was more than sure and guaranteed that she was gonna use the bloodbending on Zuko if he slipped up. I don't know. What do y'all think, man? I mean, I think when all that was said and done, I think Katara was dead ass. Like, you know what I mean? Because what happened at Ba Sing Se was a big deal, and Zuko fucked up, and uh, a fuck up. Like the fact that Aang even let him in the group is crazy. It's crazy. I think it's crazy. I feel like, but they did let him down the first time. You know what I mean? But I think it was a good way on how Zuko got into the group with the minimum amount of time they had on television. It was a good way, perfect way actually. Um, but if I would have written it, I think it would have been more time because how it's so hard to just forgive someone like Prince Zuko after everything he's done. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my only thing about the movie is those two things that really eagered me. And there are two huge key factors in the show that like is very important. It's important to know which spirits Aang connected with. You know what I mean? It's important because the whole Avatar fandom has like a history after history after history, history that I look up, even though none of this shit actually happened in reality. But the Avatar world is so interesting to people. It's just like, how could we not want to know more? You know what I mean? And it's like the shit that I know too. It's just like, yeah, it's insane too. I mean, a lot of people look at Zahir from Avatar Korra like he's God because he's the only flying airbender to do it. But we had Guru Lahima. He was the first one to do it. That's also because Tenzin says it, and I feel like not a lot of people like. There's so many key factors that people miss that it like genuinely pisses me off and it like fucks people up on the internet. You know what I mean? I think that's a huge part too. So it's like, yo, I really can't stand those who go on the internet and just say whatever the fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's people out there that genuinely think Zahir is the first airbender to float. You are so wrong, my friend. We had Guru Lahima, who was one a real airbender, and not just a real airbender from back in the day who floated. Because like to be able to do that, you have to like physically like detach your. Did you know? that airbending is a real life like martial art. That's what's fucking crazy. Like airbending is a real life martial art. Like you can actually learn from the monks. Like I'm so fucking serious. But it's not called airbend. It's called like bumba something, boomba or whatever. It's like some kind of martial art. Honestly, me too. I mean, it sounds interesting, but to most people it doesn't because it's not what they're used to. But in my opinion, I think it could be something. I think the way the script sounds, two avatars, I want to know how we got here. You know what I mean? And my question is if there is two avatars, is one Rava and the other Vatu? Because if the other's Vatu, how did you become an earthbender if you never touched the elements? You know what I mean? Like the avatar, the very first Vatu avatar was Unalak. And Unalak was straightforward and only a waterbender. So my question is, if he dies and let's say, blah 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 lives out and they got to do it again after the whole cycle, because honestly, if they have to, fight every like after every cycle, okay. But my question is, how does Vatu go into an earthbender after a waterbender if he's never touched any of the elements? Avatar 1 story. He was a firebender, right? After the fight, like this is legit the cycle too. After he gained the access of fire, he touched he touched the abilities of air. And after the abilities of air, he went and touched the abilities of water. And then after the abilities of water, he went to touch the abilities of earth. And then from there, it becomes a whole cycle after you fuse with Rava. And, boom, there you're an avatar now. And from there, because since the cycle was the way he did it's supposed to be after, Avatar 1 is fire. Who do you think the second Avatar was? Since he got air second, that means it's going to be an airbender from the Air Nomads. And since he had water right after air, Avatar Wong, that means after the airbender is going to be water and then it's going to be earth. You see how that plays out? So it's like my question is what's in it for Vatu if this is the case? Because I would love to know if this is the story because I'm more than sure that this is the story. If we're getting two Avatar, unless if there's Rava in both of them somehow and they're twins and they are both the Avatar. I think that would be even cooler, but I think it would be different if it is Vatu, and I would like to know how Vatu goes from a waterbender to an earthbender without ever touching the other elements. It doesn't make sense. You see where I'm getting on that one either. So honestly, I agree with you. I hope the show is on like its peak because honestly, man, like I'm down for just some more Avatar content. Honestly, I think I could use some more. I think it'll be a good thing. I honestly I think that yeah.